This one particular scene from the latest right-wing political e-drama definitely, it's very succinct and pretty true. Why would you do that to Megyn Kelly? As of course now, the war of words is continuing as we have some very interesting social blade subscriber numbers for Ben Shapiro that Asmongold described as the end of this right-wing conservative neocon value. As Megyn Kelly now is adding on, some would say kicking Ben Shapiro when he's down, as a lot of people are saying he's down anyway because he's pretty short, as she's firing back, talking about what she is describing as a betrayal. Something, of course, that Steve Bannon talked about and alleged that Ben Shapiro has a long history of. As I could attest, there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes with people getting phone calls saying, hey, deplatform this person. Hey, don't talk to this person. Hey, don't hire this person. Fire this person because they have borderline views that aren't aligned with my views. As, of course, the drama definitely is getting a little bit interesting here, to say the least here, as Steve Bannon also has some explaining to do himself. We'll be getting into that and a lot more, especially when it comes to the current state of the right-wing conservative movement that seems to be absolutely obsessed with Jerry Springer and seems to be reenacting their greatest classic hits of absolute debauchery and betrayal, as this thing is playing out like a sitcom, as I think there's some learning lessons to learn here, and that's what we're going to be talking about in this particular video. If you appreciate these types of conversations, subscribe. Click the notification button. We greatly appreciate all the time that you spend with us. Now, the first kind of opening salvos, the blows, were of course launched by Ben Shapiro, who came out and went after Megyn Kelly. This is what he said. I was actually in attendance. I did a live reaction to this, but this is what Ben Shapiro said and surprised Megyn Kelly with, as Megyn Kelly was saying, hey, last time I talked to him, everything was cool. And the next time I hear about him, he's trashing me in front of everyone at his main address to the conservative political movement with 30,000 people in attendance right after Erica Kirk going on and saying this.
We must not let fear of audience deter us from telling the truth. We must not let fear of other hosts deter us from telling the truth.
Now, is it fear, or is it just people being able and willing to say controversial stuff and buck the system? Now, I think it's a combination, and I would even argue Ben Shapiro isn't wrong. Some people are audience captured. It's something that we've been talking about for a very long time. And as you can see here, it's something that we, of course, deal with ourselves. And we've been talking about, hey, do you placate the audience? As there's also a lot of gaslighting and a lot of government manipulation, especially when it comes to what we're seeing, what we're hearing, the conversations that are being started here as well.
So, for example, if Candace Owens decides to spend every day since the murder of Charlie Kirk So, if Candace Owens decides to spend every day since the murder of Charlie Kirk casting aspersions at TPUSA and the people who work here, who worked with Charlie every single day, his best friends, to cast aspersions at Mikey McCoy and Andrew Colvin and Blake Neff and Tyler Boyer, and yes, at Erica Kirk, and to imply or outright claim complicity in a cover-up over Charlie's murder, to spew absolutely baseless trash implicating everyone from French intelligence to Mossad to members of TPUSA in Charlie's murder or a cover-up in that murder, then we, as people with a microphone, have a moral obligation to call that out by name.
There are some people clapping, there's some people that weren't, as you can see here by this clip.
Erica Kirk and TPUSA never should have been put in the position to have to defend themselves against such specious and evil attacks, particularly in a time of mourning.
And then he goes after, shortly in that speech, after Megyn Kelly, as these were the specific type of actions that he says Megyn Kelly is complicit in, as Megyn Kelly didn't speak out. As, of course, if you remember, there was a drama on Megyn Kelly's show where Megyn Kelly took the side of Candace's. Ben Shapiro made an argument that Candace never made at that time. Megyn Kelly came out and said, hey, no, actually, Candace didn't say that, and then later kind of clarified the record, which originally must have pissed off Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro decided to fire back very publicly, as I wish a lot of this would have happened behind the scenes. I wish there was a phone call, like, hey, let's talk this out. Maybe there was. I'm not aware of one. Megyn Kelly says the next time she kind of heard about Ben Shapiro was when he was kind of talking trash with her. Now, this is a 5-minute clip. He went off and then kind of talked about Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly is responding in a new interview with Vanity Fair, saying on Ben Shapiro and Barry Weiss, quote, they're making anti-Semites. Tucker is not making anti-Semites. They are. It's a very interesting argument that I think is specifically worth thinking about and contemplating, as of course I've kind of made a very similar argument, saying, hey, the more you try to finger wag, the more you try to tell people not to say certain things, the more you try to deplatform, the more you try to cancel and silence particular types of speech, that particular type of speech has a way of rearing its way into your life, right? And becoming more prominent and becoming more vilified, because it's like that, hey, it's like that type of analogy, hey, don't touch the stove. Younger kids are like, I'll touch the stove. If you have an overwhelming kind of crazy reaction to something, saying, how dare you say this? Young people are like, I want to say it again because I want to see you kind of freak out, because the freakouts are unwarranted and a little bit ridiculous. And then she had pointed things to say about Barry Weiss and then Ben Shapiro. And then we'll get into that because they made some very explosive statements here, as Asmongold definitely, I think, delivered this kind of analysis here that is worth thinking about. Now, before talking about that and a lot more, just really quickly, check out wearechange.shop. I got a lot of great, incredible supplements. We have teas, we have CBD, we have a lot of awesome stuff. Our now breakthrough product that I love, that I have been able to increase my sleep score from like 70s, 80s to 90s, very high 90s score today, is I think because of vitamin D. Dr. Rhonda Patrick has some very interesting things to say about vitamin D. She's talking about how it controls our genomes, our acceleration of aging, dementia, and a lot of other stuff.
So I think, the top 3 supplements, and again, the reason the supplements are important is to really fill a nutritional gap. But not only nutritional gap, just our micronutrient gap. And I'd say like the top of that list would be vitamin D. And that's really important because it's not something that you're going to get from your diet. Less than 10% of vitamin D that we get in our bodies comes from our diet, right? We're making it from UVB radiation from the sun. And the problem is that 70% of us are not making enough because we're not going in the sun. Well, that's problem number 1. We're not going in the sun anymore like we used to. We're inside.
It gives you cancer. I don't want to go.
It gives, there's skin cancer, right? I mean, so when you are in the sun, you have sunscreen, right? You're blocking out the very thing that can make vitamin D. There's a simple solution. That solution is a vitamin D supplement. Why?
Yep. And then she goes on, and I'm going to retweet this. So if you want to check out the full 7-minute clip, check it out on my Twitter at LukeWeAreChange. But vitamin D for me has been absolutely game changer. I really like it. I really enjoy it. And it has helped me out a lot. I think it could do wonders for a lot of people. Check your levels. Make sure you are in a good level. Most people are not. And then everything has changed. I just talked to someone that was taking it because of their teeth, and their teeth health went up dramatically because of the vitamin D that they have been taking. Just make sure to take it with K2 and healthy fat. That's why we put extra virgin olive oil in ours. And it's some really good top quality stuff. wearechange.shop. Now, let's go back to Megyn's kind of response here at TPUSA, directly going after Ben Shapiro, who says Candace did all these things and Megyn is allowing it. And how dare she? And Megyn better call it out. How dare she not do that?
Putting him on my shows on the Fox News. I'm not their daddy. And I resent that he thinks he's in a position to decide who must say what to whom and when. Thank you. So I don't think we are friends anymore. I've been a very good friend to Ben. Nobody knew who the heck Ben Shapiro was when I started putting him on my shows on the Fox News channel. And I helped make him a star. And I've been very, very good to Ben over the years, and he's been good to me too. He just recently came on my tour, as did you, and I gave him the most kind introduction I could possibly give him because I know that he's losing subscribers a lot. And so I tried to do something nice for him by giving him a long 10-minute intro and personally vouching for him. And we mixed it up on Israel out on stage. It wasn't Israel because we're on the same place on Israel. We mixed it up over whether Tucker Carlson should be excommunicated from the conservative movement, which I do not believe.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous statement. Like, you're lecturing people on what can and cannot be said is the opposite of what Charlie Kirk was trying to build, as a lot of people are also saying. It's kind of weird how Ben Shapiro was added to the list of speakers after Charlie Kirk passed on. Now, if you do look at Social Blade, it does detail how Ben Shapiro lost 30,000 subscribers in the last 30 days. That's about 1,000 subscribers a day are unsubscribing from his channel. And it looks like he is definitely in the negative. For November 2025, it looks like he lost 40,000 subscribers. Now, granted, in September, it looks like he gained 40,000. July, down, negative 20,000. May, down 10,000. He had a huge boost in 2023. But that was a long time ago. And ever since last year, December 2024, it looks like those numbers have been absolutely struggling, as even in February, he gained 0. And as a content creator, if you're losing 30,000 subscribers, that's a big deal. That's a lot of people tuning out. That's a lot of people, because again, people usually don't unsubscribe. They usually don't click on your content. But when they're unsubscribing and saying, I don't want to listen to this anymore, it's creating a situation where, holy cow, and this was my analysis. As soon as I came out of that Ben Shapiro speech at TPUSA, I did a video on this channel describing, and I was like, it seemed more like a desperate kind of situation, to be quite honest with you. It seemed like, hey, I'm losing my followership, I'm losing my influence. Stop all these people who are gaining influence. And if you look at Tucker Carlson's numbers, those numbers are a little bit better. Let's just be honest with ourselves here. As in the past 30 days, Tucker Carlson gained 80,000 subscribers. And if you look at here, he's been very consistent at gaining October of this year, 250,000 subscribers. November, 140,000 subscribers. There's a big difference between the two. That does translate into, holy cannoli, I'm losing my audience. I'm losing my influence. I'm losing my brand. I'm losing what I previously had before.
And thank you. And when it was over, we hugged, said goodbye, and then we had a nice text exchange a couple days later saying our friendship was important to us. And the next thing I saw was him attacking me on stage last night as a coward. So that's not friendship, and I think that's fine with me, with friends like that.
Yeah, it sucks because you could see that it kind of personally affected people, and it sucks when you see a lot of the kind of behind the back sneak attacks that do happen in not an upfront real way. Because if I have issues or problems with somebody, I don't usually go on to the internet and use my grievance as online internet brownie points for drama. People love drama now, and I think a lot of people are getting just hooked and addicted on it. And we're kind of like struggling to figure out how much are we going to talk about this type of stuff. But I think you do kind of see the true character of somebody when this drama kind of unfolds and comes out. As Asmongold came out and said Ben Shapiro's side is losing massively. This is what he had to say.
Ben Shapiro's side is losing massively. They are massively losing, at least on the internet. On the internet, there is an overwhelming support of America First, Israel Last policies. I think some of this is fueled by genuine anti-Semitism. Some of it is fueled by, class frustration. Some of it is fueled by just very simply like not wanting foreign countries to be involved in your country. And so anyway, this brand of conservatism, I think, is dying. It's dying.
Yeah, because it doesn't make any sense, as a lot of people are being told no. And then we have the Mark Levins, the BBs, the Ben Shapiro's being like, yes, we need to bomb Iran. Yes, whatever the, problems you're dealing with, it doesn't matter. Iran. And the average American is like, no Iranians called me a bunch of names. No Iranians tried to cancel and deplatform me, right? No Iranians told me what can I say and who I can associate with. You are, and you're kind of lecturing us from this high horse of moral superiority of you know the truth. I'm the truth teller. You're not telling the truth. You need to disavow everyone. It's like you're destroying the kind of big umbrella movement that Charlie helped kind of build. And I would say this behavior is far more destructive than a lot of people let it on to be. As of course, now we have this Megyn Kelly response here that's slamming Ben Shapiro for the betrayal, as she says she was left flabbergasted. But this is what she had to say about Barry Weiss and Ben Shapiro. On Ben Shapiro, she said, Ben is Israel first. I'm sorry, but his behavior has proven that charged to be correct. Why would you divide the American conservative movement, which was gelling, which was becoming much more cohesive for a moment after Charlie died, over Israel? Yeah, as this was the key issue that they kept bringing up. On Barry Weiss, she said, Barry in particular has made her career on the anti-cancel culture thing. Meanwhile, she's never been canceled, and she's basically supporting Ben's attempt to cancel me for the conservative movement of which she's not a part of. There's also people like Sam Tripoli who have come out and accused Barry Weiss of trying to cancel agents for Tim Dillon. Now, why would she be doing that behind the scenes? So that's not nice. As of course, listen, I could attest that a lot of these type of neocon, Israel first guys, call up a lot of the other influencers and threaten them to fire people. And sometimes the calls were about me. Sometimes the calls were about my friends. They're like, how dare you platform him? And I'm not even that kind of a hardcore guy. I'm like, all these foreign policy issues, all I'm saying is, stop with the hate, stop with the bigotry, but let's focus in on our issues here domestically, which I think are a little bit more important. And that message resonates a lot more than Ben Shapiro lecturing people about why we need more foreign endeavors, as this government is doing a lot for those foreign endeavors. There's a new push to bomb Iran again. Who knows if it will happen? There's a bombing of Syria. Why are our troops in Syria right now? It makes no sense at all here. Now, Steve Bannon also specifically talking about the Ben Shapiro past, as he described how there was efforts to try to take over different organizations, as he's now being accused of trying to take over TPUSA.
Shapiro is like a cancer, and that cancer spreads. It's a cancer, and it metastasizes. He tried to take over Breitbart, and I ran him out of there. He tried to take over David Horowitz's, who was his mentor. Don't ask me. Ask the guys associated with David Horowitz what he did there. He tried to take that over. And mark my word, he will make a move on Turning Point because he's always been envious of Charlie Kirk.
Always been envious of Charlie Kirk. And a lot of people from the very beginning, as soon as Charlie passed, Ben Shapiro came, he donated $1 million to TPUSA, and a lot of people are saying he's making that move. The future of TPUSA is still being kind of questioned, where they're going to go, what they're going to be doing here. As other people like Sir Stephen KJ are saying, Steve Bannon is 100% correct. Quote, Ben Shapiro is a bad person who has always hated Trump. Whenever I get frustrated with Bannon, he says things like this to win me back. As Bannon went on and went after more pointed attacks against Ben. And for me personally, when I listen to Bannon, I'm like, I'm just sick of the drama. I don't even want to listen to this. I was like, I think, you know, some people are saying, no, he needs to say this stuff. He needs to bring this up. He needs to prevent this hijacking that allegedly is happening behind the scenes here. As he also says that Ben Shapiro can't handle the truth. He was a never-Trumper. He walked over the Lewandowski incident and tried to flip Ted Cruz because he hated Trump. He barely supported Trump. Then the moment Trump left the White House, he jumped on the DeSantis and Israel first train. 2021 and 2022 were dark for a reason. He's been against Trump the entire time, and he was a never-Trumper. And as soon as Trump kind of, before becoming the major political juggernaut that he became, and he was running for the presidency of the United States, there was this kind of establishment neoconservative old Bush type guard that Ben Shapiro represents that set up the kind of offense against him. It backfired. It didn't work. And then Ben Shapiro ended up saying, okay, I'll support you. And he did. Now, some of Ben Shapiro's takes I kind of disagree with. I do think he is extremely smart, but I do believe that his type of assessments on recent issues aren't always the best, and those ideas deserve to be argued instead of the personalities. So, can we stop with the personalities? Can we just talk about these ideas? I would like that, and that's what I hope to try to make some of these videos. And again, Bannon still has a lot of explaining to do. He said there's going to be a documentary coming in 2026 with the videotapes that he has of Epstein. I haven't seen that so far. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I hope there's a documentary so we get more answers here, specifically understanding what kind of really went on and happened here. Anyway, we are change.shop. Check us out. Thank you so much for supporting independent media. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys doing that. Thank you so much for supporting this new channel. This new channel is doing great. And this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more. All here exclusively on youtube.com/LukeRadowski76.